Wow. Wow. Meow. Meow.
The visuals.
That is so Sega Genesis. I feel a little weird. I think these carrot cake Oreos did a number on me.
They will get you through anything.
I was doing okay until I had that. Now it's just a full rush of I don't know what.
Carrot cake Oreos.
I mean, it's legit crack. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it.
It's the only way I'm getting through this episode.
I was feeling normal, fine, just happy, and then now this is just like I went through a different dimension.
Stuff is crack.
Stuff is crack, apparently, for only $4.99.
Isn't this like... No, it's cheaper than that.
Cheaper-
It's even
oh.
better.
Yeah.
These are actually cream cheese stuff.
A carrot cake, cream cheese.
Carrot cake flavored cookie with cream cheese frosting flavored stuff.
If it's cheesecake, or oh my goodness,
Yes,
If it's
no, not
carrot
cheesecake.
If
Carrot
it's carrot
cheesecake.
cake, it has to have the cream cheese. If you just use the regular, just vanilla sugar frosting, it's not the same. You have to have the cream cheese.
Yeah, it's just right now I feel a little too excited. I need to calm down. Thanks,
This is calming
thanks,
me
Oreo.
down. This is calming me down.
Yeah, we don't.
getting me through Ecco.
We are not sponsoring Oreo in any way. This is just.
Hey, Oreo, if you want a sponsorship, give me some carrot cake Oreos. I may talk about it.
Please, I forgive my friend Kyle.
He knows not what he eats. That's our intro. So here we go.
This is how I'm getting through Oreo and beer. Josh's face when I said that.
Dude, you lost your mind.
You should have seen
Kyle
his face.
was normal until he dug into this stuff. Jeez. Let me do my damn intro.
Okay, good.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Retro Game Night. We are a podcast centered on all things in retro gaming and pop culture. We cover everything from video games, comics, animated series, and film. I am your host, Damien. I am joined with my wonderful crew, Kyle
Hey!
and Joshua.
Oh, God.
We are here to talk about... Well, let's hold on. Let's first see what's up with you guys before... I'm dying to get into this, but... how are you guys? How's everything going?
Little stressful things with some life, but that's just life. Things are always up and down. But
that is the point of Retro Game Night. We get away from the stresses.
exactly, and
That's
I've
how it
been
started.
diving into. I know we talk about some modern stuff too, so I'm going to get into something modern. And I've been obsessed with No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, the one you were telling me that now they just put VR compatibility,
It's
right?
so stinking crazy with the two Move controllers added to it, each individual hand being able to fly your spaceship into space and having the controls and scanning everything and being able to fight. It's just an insane game to have in VR. And it's a nice little break from everything else.
I did play it while I wasn't in VR, but dumb question, but is it that much more crazy in VR?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because instead of having to use the right stick to have to aim and use your mining tool, I'm literally running to a place. I see something off to my right that I want to mine, or off to my left. I just take my right hand, and as I'm running, I'm just mining things as I'm like running past it, and I don't even have to be looking at it. Like I know where, like, because of just orientation, I just know that I'm aiming at it. I can just look off to my right a little bit, make sure I'm still on target while still running straight ahead. It's just crazy what you're able to do with that. And then also a cool little thing that they did to it was to be able to analyze things, to scan things. That's how you make some money into it, is you make new discoveries. You take your left hand, you put it up next to your head, and you click your button. So it's like you're pushing a button on your helmet, or like flipping a switch. And you switch into your scanner mode, and then your mining gun becomes your analyzing tool. And then to turn it off, you raise back up on your visor and click it again, and it's off. It's just like so in depth. I've tried playing it out of VR, and I'm like, I can't do this. The controls are too weird. It's too weird to have to use the control sticks. I have to play it in VR now. There's no other way.
That sounds nice. I'll have to check it out.
Move into the next level, but I think a lot of people that listen to our Comic-Con podcast might ask, Are you a female character in this game?
Here we go.
You don't get to choose, at least not yet, I don't believe, of what you are yet. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm a chick or not. Maybe the game decided
You're
for
not
me.
going to get anything out of being a female in this particular game.
If I can choose it, I will be it.
Or is this like Metroid, where you're wearing a spacesuit, so you really, you have no discernible gender?
Well, what I noticed was it's multiplayer now, which is kind of crazy. The whole game is now a multiplayer thing, and there's a central hub that you go to that a lot of people that you can connect with and be able to join with your friends or something. I've seen people just running around in a generic spacesuit, but then I've also seen players that were actually different aliens. So I don't know if later on in the game you get to choose what you are, or if it's assigned to you, or maybe that's something that they bought. I don't know yet. I'm not that far into. Oh, I'm actually like 10 hours into the game, and I still don't know what I'm doing yet, other than exploring.
So, I wonder if it's an unlockable, or maybe it's just some DLC or something.
It's a super in-depth thing. There was a whole game theory, a science aspect of it that said that with how many procedurally planets that could be generated in that game, the entire planet Earth, if every single person on Earth was to play this game and try to and just go discover a planet, then discover the next planet, then discover the next planet, it would take like thousands of years just to discover all the planets in that game. So it's pretty crazy what you're able to explore, and I've just barely scratched the surface.
Josh, what's up with you?
Right now, just working on a couple little projects here and there, playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now myself.
I noticed that you were playing online.
Yeah,
That's a great game.
just have to sacrifice a couple extra hours of sleep, but you know what? It's so totally worth it. It's such a huge world. You really feel immersed in it.
That map
And
is giant.
It is, and I haven't even touched the Frozen Wilds DLC on that yet.
Oh, jeez. I have that too, and I haven't beat that game nor gone in through the DLC. But that game is pretty insane on being able to fight, robot dinosaurs. It's pretty stinking cool.
Any game with dinosaurs and robots is going to be automatically cool.
Oh, absolutely.
And by the end, you can control a lot of them.
Spoilers.
Not
That
for
was-
the not
that
for
was-
the completionist.
that was creepy.
That was a little creepy. It's like we talk to each other often or something.
Well, if you're a completionist like me, you will get to there.
Did you find the hidden piece of armor yet that you have to unlock stuff to be able to get to it?
Oh, I'm working on that.
Oh, yeah. That's my boy right there.
Well, tonight
Do we have to?
we have to.
Do we have to?
Don't sound very excited.
This was kind of your idea, anyway,
yeah,
Josh
yeah.
or Kyle.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah, it was.
We were talking about it, and I was just like, let's just get this over
We'll
with
just do
so I
it.
could just rip
Yeah.
off that Band-Aid, man,
Yeah.
because we're going to have to eventually.
Because we'll get into it, but basically, Kyle has a form of PTSD from this game. Tonight, we dive into Ecco the Dolphin for the Sega Genesis and the Mega Drive, as it's called in Europe and Japan. It is an action-adventure game published by Sega in 1992. Ecco the Dolphin was published digitally as well via Nintendo's Virtual Console in 2006, Xbox Live Arcade, Steam, iOS, and Nintendo 3DS. It is the first installment in the Ecco the Dolphin video game franchise. The player character is a bottlenose dolphin who travels through time, apparently. Through time. We'll get to that. To combat hostile extraterrestrials in Earth's oceans and on alien spacecrafts.
It seems like everything in the past was always about an alien invasion on planet Earth.
I have
Just
issues.
time
I have
travel.
issues with that automatically. I just do. I feel that. I'm sorry. Why?
Why what?
I don't know. Everything. Why make a game? First of all, about a dolphin.
Well, why not?
Okay, touche. But why make a game about a dolphin where you're not battling sharks or predators? that
there
are
were
out
sharks.
There was natural obstacles.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
there were sharks
I
and
missed
stuff.
that clearly because all I saw were aliens. And
Well, on the wiki, if you just read it like that, then yeah, it just seems like there's just endless ocean and aliens, and that's it. But there's still wildlife
and you
in the
travel
ocean.
through time, which makes no sense for a dolphin. But okay, I'll just roll with that.
Hey,
sure.
the lost city of Atlantis knew that a dolphin would have to travel through time, so they built a time travel machine just for a dolphin.
And
Come
it,
on,
and
it's
it uses
logic.
sonar. It uses sonar to
Yeah.
power it.
Yeah,
That's
it
what I didn't
bounces
get.
it back and forth.
So my description of the game, playing it, was the one word: frustration. It was very. it irritated me to no end, not really knowing what to do. But I get it. Games back then were of a different nature. You kind of figured things out. I'll say the positive. I liked that there was nice scenery. It looked cool. The graphics were nice for its time, for sure. The music was cool. It wasn't bad. It was very soothing.
So your experience with the game was just the first level?
I had played just the first level recently, and I had played the game before when I was younger, and vaguely remember.
Did you get past the first level?
Yeah, and then I got into the parts where there were some like aliens and whatever, and they looked weird.
That was towards the end of the game.
Or maybe it was just when I was watching videos of it, but so there were sharks that you fight, which
they were obstacles. You don't necessarily have to fight them.
You can avoid them.
You can avoid them.
But what irritated me was the sonar.
What irritated you?
The sonar.
Actually, the cool thing about the sonar was that if you bounce it off a wall, it was the way to make a map system.
Yeah, the mini map.
Oh, see, I didn't even know
that was a pretty cool thing. But
you didn't read the manual, did you?
No, heck no.
Oh, you
Heck
need to pull
no.
up the manual right now. It's very thorough.
I bet. I mean, I'll say a positive about old games. We had manuals to tell us what to do. Nowadays, there's nothing except the internet, which
internet.
There was just internet, but it was
Interwebs.
kind of cool having a manual. Just saying.
But yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, this game. When I first played it.
Let's go into that. Let's go into your first experience when you played it. Everything.
Okay, so when the game first starts, it's actually pretty stinking cool. It's nice, soothing music. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're putting in the music that we recorded to be able to have a way for people to hear how soothing the intro music is. It's actually really nice. And you're swimming around, and it's really cool. You can jump out of the water. You do little arcs as a dolphin. You get to swim around with it.
But why?
That was
Why do that?
Just, because
That's
it's cool.
Stupid.
Well, okay,
you just dive
there's
out.
A game,
There's a game. Back in.
There's a game on Steam where you're swimming around as divers and sharks come and attack you. Why? Why do that? Because you can. Okay.
Hey, interrupted you. Go. Keep going.
So you get the first little bit. You jump out of the water. Aliens take your pod, and so Echo's like, "Where's my pod? I'm lonely." So he needs to go and find out what's going on, and you can actually talk to the different dolphins that are still kind of there and killer whales and stuff. It's kind of cool. And then you get into the first level, and it becomes an underwater maze.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
I remember the maze.
And
Wait, was that the first level, or was that?
Well, the reason why
the reason
why it's kind of the first, kind of the second, but see, the thing is I consider anything that's underwater that looks exactly the same, and you come across a 4-path intersection. It's an underwater maze because it all looks the same. I'm sorry,
It's a maze game.
The game is
essentially.
cool and looks really good for like the first level, and then you get to the second level and it's the same blue ocean, obviously, because it's a game about a dolphin in the ocean.
Yeah.
And then it's the same for intersections. But then you don't know, like, if you need to go left to get air, if you need to go right to get air. Do I need to go completely up? But then if I go up and then I hit a dead end and there's no air, and so then I'm having to search for air. And then my air gauge is going down and I'm trying to find air and I don't know which way I'm going. I'm going left, I'm going right, I'm going down. I'm like trying to figure out where I'm going, and then all of a sudden a blank screen because the dolphin died. And
So
I'm like,
that's it. We
where
just
do I go?
we just tapped into your big trauma of the game.
I even tried it again for this podcast. I'll be like, okay, I need to sit down. I need to try it again. I need to figure this out and try to do it. And like I touched it and I legitimately freaked out. So I'm like, okay, the controls are the same of how I remember it. They're really responsive and interactive, and it was really cool. You have the different buttons. You can jump out. You can speed, which is his attack, which is kind of a cool thing for a dolphin to be able to have, which is a high speed attack. And then I just couldn't. So I had to watch a walkthrough or just gameplay of this game. And the dude must have played this game so much because if my wife was here, she would attest to it. I freaked out. The dude knew where all the air was, but I didn't know that at the time. So he just kept dashing past where he could breathe. And I'm like, dude, there's air right there. Stop and get a breath.
Was it a speed run?
No, he was just going. He just knew the game that well. He was just beating it without dying, which
Because
was
he
kind
could.
of bonkers.
Because he's that good.
No, but he didn't do a speed run because he didn't use glitches or he didn't like force his way through certain gems. And we'll get to that later. But there's certain ways that you can kind of glitch your way through certain spots. He did it all legit, but he just knew where everything was. And there were times where his breath meter went. You have like 5 blocks, so your health was on the health and air were on the upper left.
It's like that one time you buy
sorry,
a
I'm on
brand new you get that brand new console when you're a kid, and you're only allowed your one game for a good while, and that reminds me of maybe this guy. It was his one game he had in his possession.
It must have been, because when he beat it, he's like, yes, finally I did it. It's like, he's like legitimately was freaking out.
Even though he knew everything, it seemed like he played it forever.
Yeah, I thought he beat it a couple times. So he was like, oh, look, let me just do a recording. And I know it. No, this was like his recording to beat it. But like, so on the top part, it's a darker blue or kind of gray, and that's your health bars, and you have 5 bars up there. Doesn't equate to 5 hits, which is kind of weird. It's like progressively goes down, and the higher.
I didn't
damage.
really get that.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand what the damage meant or how it equated to your health bar up there, but you just knew when you were getting low, you needed to swim through a school of fish to eat, which was kind of a cool way to be able to replenish your health.
There were some pluses with this. I mean, what game do you really find that takes place almost entirely underwater? First of all, not many. There are some.
Right.
And
you
for
could
its
have at least
time-
given us some gills so we didn't have to worry about breath.
Right. Well, you mentioned something in
It's
the
not
article.
Ecco the tuna.
You mentioned something in the article you read that the programmer that made, or the creator of the game, felt it was too easy,
And
he had to make it harder.
Enun Zeta? I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I think it's Yiddish. I don't know. But yeah, he actually mentioned that he was concerned about kids and renting, because at that time in '92, that was a time when Blockbuster, or out here I always went to Game Exchange, or I'm sure any number of places. Video 94 was also out here, if you remember that.
No, I don't remember that.
Your local game rental shop. I'm sure you guys remember those.
Oh yeah.
He was concerned about people going out, renting the game, beating it in a weekend, and just returning it. So he was like, so I made it hard. And he accomplished his goal.
He made a really good job of making it hard.
Yeah, because you got lost and you died so much.
That's the thing. You get lost in this maze, and with very little time to breathe.
And then you get PTSD.
And then when you go back and you
He could have
die,
made it way worse than that. I don't know. I'm sorry, but he could have made that game way worse. Because think about it. When you're playing through, and I played through quite a bit, whether you consider it the first or the second level, I couldn't get past that point. I did give it an honest try. I did really try to get through it. But the thing is that when you start getting low on oxygen, there is no death animation. There's no increase in the tempo and the music. It's the same synth tune constantly going. All of a sudden, snap, and just
Black screen.
Oh, here's the code. Well, start over, I guess.
Yeah, I understand that there was no death animation. There's no traumatizing of the dolphin just slowly flipping upside down and then raising through the top of the level. I
imagine
get that.
how
really
young
morbid.
Kyle would have reacted to that.
Mom, I'm killing the dolphins. but it was just the stress of the maze and not knowing where. Okay, so I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast too, but if not, maybe it's just in passing as our normal conversations. But as a younger kid, I also played a DOS game called Mickey in Space, and it was the same thing where with that one I actually had to get a graph paper out and mark which way I was going, and it said, okay, well, here's your pod. Do you want to go north, south, east, or west? And you would go around. It's old school DOS, but it was the same thing. You needed air, and if you didn't plan your path out and then have enough air to make it back, Mickey died in space because he suffocated and died because he had no air.
what is it with these games that were so stressful? And I don't find any games nowadays that stressful, because I felt the same thing in Sonic the Hedgehog when he was down underwater.
Right.
You had to wait for the bubbles to come up, and if it didn't, then you died.
But at least with those games, it was a certain segment of the level. It wasn't the entire game.
Yeah, it wasn't the whole thing. Yeah.
And that's the thing about this, it was the entire game. And so going back to what I was talking about with the guy with his gameplay, he would shoot past these air pockets, and I was freaking out. I'm like, there's air there. Get air. You need air. He would only have 3 bars of air left, go do something, and then shoot back across and miss all the air pockets again. And he would have like 2 or 1 bars of air left. And
You're
I'm
freaking out.
I'm sitting there going, dude, like, where are you going?
I have no control in my hand.
Because he knows what he's doing.
But in the beginning, I didn't know that. I just thought I was watching a gameplay. I was just like, what the heck is this guy doing? It would get to the point to where he had no bars of air left, and then he finally hit a pocket. I'm just like, oh, thank God he found
Just
some
see
air.
Kyle on the couch stressing and sweating. And
Like I said, if my wife was here, she would attest to it. I was freaking out until I realized, okay, this guy knew where he was going, or at least for these certain spots, he knew where he was going. So just trust in the dude. Just trust him. I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. I'm squeaking right now because I'm going through puberty because I'm freaking out about this game.
It's just a video, Kyle. It's okay.
It's a video game, and I'm in control, and I don't want to kill the dolphin.
Josh,
so that's me.
yeah,
I think I need therapy.
There's some issues there.
Give me my beer.
Josh, what is your take on it? I didn't really get to talk too much with you about it before.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of took
Because
over
it's
there.
a surprise. Well, what I would have to say is, like, I would say that this game was really good for its time, and I would say it's even par for its time. There's a lot of games out there that are known back in that time period that were very difficult. They were very challenging. In some cases, you had no idea what to do. You really had just the manual that came with the game, and there was no maps in most games. You had to kind of figure things out as you went.
Yeah.
I actually kind of stopped playing the Guardian Legend for the NES for that same reason. I was able to look up online, what I was kind of supposed to do.
Yeah.
I really tried to figure it out on my own, and I could only get so far. There was all these puzzles, and the graphics just made no sense, and I wasn't able to figure out what the game was actually asking me to do. And so that is a bit more frustrating. Now, with Ecco, I felt like most of the puzzles were easy enough to understand. You had the currents, and sometimes you would have to use certain methods to kind of get past the currents. I remember there was one level that I was watching where Ecco has to push a boulder down, and the boulder pretty much acts as a buffer for the current so that you can get Ecco downward into a different area.
Right.
But if he moved past that boulder, the current just shoots him right back up.
And it wasn't just a gentle, hey, you can recover from this mistake that you did. No, it like shot you up, and you're like, okay, I have to do this boulder again. I have to go down this entire thing.
It was so punishing and unforgiving.
Yeah,
that
it
game.
was.
And it felt like I was playing an NES game because I remember Sega Genesis games being a lot more forgiving and a lot easier than the NES games that I played when I was a kid. They were doable.
Right.
Whereas this felt, this is back in the older days where it was just completely impossible.
It was a challenge, and it required you to play the game constantly. You had to learn the map. You had to learn where everything was.
You had to learn where the air pockets
Like the
were.
guy in the video.
Exactly. Yeah.
He just knew it all.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
his
sure,
name?
I'm sure. I have no idea. I'm sure he killed hundreds of thousands of dolphins, though. Like, that guy is doing mass genocide on Echoes.
Man, so cruel.
Yeah, I did, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, I did, well, not that I got through the game completely, but I did watch a playthrough, and the guy pretty clearly says, hey, you're not going to see me die during this playthrough just because I wanted to keep it under 2 hours. So, don't think I'm playing through this, in one go. I am dying a lot. And he made it clear, and I appreciate him being honest, because I did see another video where they were a bit more open about their dying, and it was closer to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So the game in 2020, let's just imagine it's coming out. It wouldn't happen.
It'd be in VR. And
One-
then I'd have
one
even
word.
More. It'd be even worse.
One word, PETA.
Oh, God.
They would be all over it. There's no way a game like that, I think, could do well in today's day and age. I think that for the 90s, it seemed
Yeah, probably.
new and
I think it'd be
different.
okay. You are the dolphin.
You are the dolphin, but I mean,
as
the
long as you're
abuse the
not-
poor dolphin goes through.
Yeah, like the spikes and the sharks and the porcupines.
And the trash continent in the middle of the Pacific. Oh, wait, that wasn't in the game.
Yeah, you have to avoid the 6-pack can plastic can thing, so that way it doesn't get stuck on your bottlenose.
At some point, the sonar gets some sort of upgrade. I remember something like that, right?
Okay, so you eventually, as you're going through the game and you get through the ice caps, you come across this double helix character. I don't remember if he gave it a name or not.
I think it was it Vortex or something
No,
like
Vortex was the planet. Okay,
Oh.
so there's this. Okay. Let's
Back
just
it up, back it
okay.
that? Or was that the Big Blue? I don't
I
even
think
know.
that might have been Big Blue or like something where all the creatures were like, "There's this weird thing over there. Go talk to it because it knows what's going on. And maybe you can find your pod there." That's what a group of dolphins is called in the ocean. If people don't know, they're called pods. Little education for your gaming there, yeah. So you go and you talk to this creature, and it goes. They lets you know that the lost city of Atlantis specifically built a time travel machine for a dolphin, and so to go over there and there's these diamonds or the crystals as you're going through Atlantis to be able to. There's like logs of what the people did for the dolphin to be able to get through. It kind of gives you the story, but it's that weird text that when you echolocate on it, it kind of comes back and it's like the weird wavy text. It's kind of hard to read
Yeah, why they gotta do that?
because it's underwater and it's echolocation and it's funky and weird.
Because it's stupid. That's why.
Josh. No, it's because it was Sega and they wanted to do something really cool with their font.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Sega wanted to be cool. All right.
Sega.
They tried a game with a little hedgehog, and I thought, why not do a dolphin? Because a dolphin is cute.
Yeah.
But
So
this dolphin was anything but cute because he just
no, he's adorable.
He just dies.
He was
and
amazing.
The cool thing that they did.
drowns and
The cool thing that they did with the animation was when you turned around, it wasn't just that he like turned invisible and then he was just the other way. They actually made it look like he was like folding in half, and like his face would actually turn to the camera and then turn to the side. So he actually made it look like he was actually turning around in a 3D world, but you're just looking at it in a 2D way.
Yeah, I guess
That's actually how you got into the console of the game. Actually, is when he was turning and looked at the screen. If you paused it and entered a certain button combination, you could actually get into the console of it, and like you could teleport to different locations, or you could give yourself health or something like that. I never knew that as a kid, but when I was watching a speed run of it, the dude actually did that because he kept messing up on a trick that he was trying to glitch through, so he just teleported himself down instead.
okay, Echo can be kind of cute, but he irritates me. He irritates the tar out of me because he doesn't do what I want him to do. But
It was difficult.
It was difficult, and I mean the gameplay was very. I don't know if we talked about this already. It was very repetitive. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I felt like I
The
was
scenery.
playing every scene, every level of Pac-Man, where it was just the same screen, different color, same screen, different color. It just
Different maze, at least.
I mean, the first level, without a doubt, is the most gorgeous because it looked. I don't know. It seemed to me that they poured all the effort into the first level, and then from there on, it was like, oh, filler.
Well, in the lost city of Atlantis, there were statues,
I do
although
not
they were
recall.
like naked men, which is kind of weird.
Oh, so
Sega, come on now.
just so we don't get any angry fans getting mad at us. So
Oh, get mad at me.
during his adventures, Echo encounters an orca, which tells him to travel to the Arctic to meet the Big Blue, which is an old blue whale revered for his long life, age, and wisdom. And so Big Blue suggests to find the asterite, which is the oldest life form on Earth.
So that's the double helix, the asteroid.
Yes, and then the vortex were the aliens.
Right. Well, the vortex was the name of the planet that came in line with Earth every 500 years, and then that's where they pulled the life.
Nope, it is the alien race known as the vortex.
It just says the vortex. So whether or not it's the planet or the alien race, you be the judge.
And then the aliens invaded.
Which makes complete no sense in this.
Well, so like Echo needed to take care of this. I don't know why Echo had to. I don't know why the human race couldn't just do it, but
Because they're too busy polluting the earth and out in the ocean.
And sinking Atlantis.
so Echo had to destroy this alien race because if they continued to suck all the life out of the planet, it would have completely wiped life off the planet Earth. So because they just it couldn't satiate their appetite. They were so hungry that they kept just stealing more and more and more and more. So he had to take care of it somehow. And for some reason, the only special powers that could be bestowed upon was a bottlenose dolphin.
In any case, I don't agree with this game. I feel like I wanted to like it. It is nostalgic because it does remind me of, I think it was Sega Genesis like launch titles, like one of its launch.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Being 92, I would assume. But I think the game just like it does not make me curious for the other ones personally. I feel like it's gonna be the same thing, and this didn't really, correct me if I'm wrong, this didn't really have a story, right? Like an actual story in game that was happening. It
Well,
was
there
like
was
a
no-
series of events.
While there was no cutscenes, if you communicated with the other aquatic life, and then it actually does kind of guide you with your communication with the other creatures. It kind of tells you that story, but it doesn't have anything like cutscenes or text like a epilogue or prologue or something. Was there?
In the original version, no, but there was a PC release that did add some, or it was either PC release or a Sega CD. One of the later ones actually added in some different cutscenes.
That was probably Sega CD.
So there was something like that, but it was more about you had to go around and you were just kind of. This was the kind of the cool thing about the game. You're this dolphin, you're swimming around with your pod, and then all of a sudden something happens, and you don't know what's going on. And so you're trying to ask the other creatures around you, hey, what's going on? Have you seen my pod? And no one has seen your pod. They don't know where they went. So you're swimming around trying to figure out what the heck happened. Oh, I need to go to this big blue character because he may have some more information because he's wise. Okay, well, I'm a dolphin. There's this giant creature over there. I need to go talk to that. So you need to find your way to that guy. And then he goes, oh, you need to go over here and talk to this creature. Okay, so you're swimming over there, and then this creature lets you know there's the city over here, and they have a time travel machine. You need to go back in time, and you need to do this, so that way I can help you find your pod. So when you go over there, in the original game, when, like I said before, when you're going through the lost city of Atlantis, there are those crystals that were blocking your way. Those actually held story in them, but it was only text. In the original game, there was no cutscene or there was no voiceover or anything like that. It was just through the text, and I mean, there was like 8 or 9 of those crystals. Like, I got tired of reading those crystals, so I was like, oh, sweet Jesus, does this keep going?
Too long, didn't read.
How many levels do you recall? How many levels went through this whole thing?
No, not really.
This wonderful experience.
I don't remember how many levels there were, but it did switch up the scenery a little bit. And when you went to the alien race, or not the alien race, but the alien planet, because you go back in time and on the other planet, like the ocean changes like to red, I think, or it's like a weird different color.
Ooh.
And then you went back to the original ocean, and then at the end of the game, you actually go up into the alien spaceship. So that was kind of interesting.
Pew 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 pew.
To say the least, interesting. Yeah.
But
Oh wait,
so
because
at least,
remember, by that point,
See, if
Ecco didn't need to. No. Come on, you're missing a whole lot of context here. At this point now, Ecco no longer needs to breathe air.
right.
He regenerates health, and he can shoot little sonar attacks.
So if I would
yeah.
have suffered through 45 minutes of gameplay, I would have been able to at least not have to worry about dying by suffocation anymore.
Well, that's 45 minutes without dying.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been like 10 years of my life trying to figure that out.
Okay.
You don't sound convinced yet.
No,
Damien.
I'm very far from it.
What are we gonna be able to? What do we have
were-
to say to be able to get you to go back to it and experience the entire gameplay, the joy, the I don't know what else I'm gonna say. Of Ecco the Dolphin.
I will deny you of that. I do
Okay.
not. Want to
I
go
would
back
say
to that
probably
again.
duct tape and a promise that will set him free once he finishes the game.
And some carrot cake Oreos.
Ooh, prize at the end.
Okay, you got me with that. How did the game do, Josh? Because before we give our review, I want to know what the world thought of Ecco the Dolphin.
The look back review.
Well, in most cases, they were giving it like a D. Over here on IGN, they were giving it 6 out of 10. GameSpot 6.5, and Nintendo Life 6 out of 10. So it was okay.
Yeah, okay would be the best word.
I would say so as far as the ratings.
That's actually kind of interesting because I also see when I was looking at the wiki that other ones gave it like a 94 and a 9 out of 10. So it kind of seems like it was all over the place.
Right. Because I feel like it should be a little bit higher than that. But what I would be
Are you
curious
looking at
to
like
do-
the PC port or something like that? Or is this the actual original game?
No, these are see, and here's the problem though, and this is I think the thing that we're encountering as we go back to this game. So the one review on GameSpot was done in 2007.
Ooh.
That's 15 years after the game is released.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
And so
That's
this
the problem.
reviewer probably has already lost that fire within him that all of us, 90s children had, that helped us to get past all these ridiculously hard games without the cheats, without any emulators and save states. I mean, think back to some of the games we've played, like Thundercade or Ninja Gaiden for the NES. Those games are hard.
Yeah.
The original Ninja Turtles game. Those games are difficult. They require a lot of skill, a lot of time, a lot of effort
Lot of
to
save
get
states.
through.
It sounds like that reviewer was spoiled by COD already.
Yep. Yeah. Where's my gun? This Dolphin has no
I
rocket
need-
launchers on
I
top
need
of
a
him.
leading hand.
And I'll hold back on my final review because I know we'll be getting to that. But
Yeah.
I feel like for the time, it was a legitly good game.
That's the
But
thing. I think
yeah.
It's a
looking
little
back, it was
harder.
okay, and we were
Yes.
open to wow. This is you're distracted by good graphics, brand new game. This is 16-bit, everybody. Wow, let's watch it. Whereas now it's like, dude, we've played so many great gems from back then. What is this? Like, what is this?
Well,
Right.
It's still kind of pretty good graphics, even on a HD TV. I mean, it's still
Yeah,
pretty vibrant for
it looks really
that
good.
time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it that. The Sega Genesis had lasting graphics. It didn't look horrendous like some NES games did.
But what was really lacking for me in this too was the soundtrack. When I was watching this gameplay of it, this guy was going for like a little over an hour, and it was the same song. Like it was like the same two different songs, maybe a little bit of a different tempo or something in different areas, maybe three when you went up into the alien ship. It just seemed like it for when you first started. It was nice. It was soothing. It felt like you were in the ocean, like a really nice melody to it. But it was like the same thing over and over again, and you just kind of got tired of that same looping soundtrack.
Yeah, it just kept going, and
The-
the repetitive is the worst thing about this game.
The Sega could do.
Just listen to that thrilling music.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the music throughout this game, I feel like if you were to put it on a constant loop, it would be perfect ambiance music to fall asleep to.
It's
Yeah.
relaxing, but in no way does it sound pleasing to me. It just kind of sounds like dulled noises.
Yeah, I feel like they really missed the mark on there for what the Sega could do with its music. That they made such a bland thing for the game that it couldn't get that music doesn't get you excited to keep trying, to at least have something positive to go back to because you died hundreds of thousands of times.
There's not much replay value when it comes to the
Yeah.
music, or there was nothing catchy about it.
Right.
Whereas Sonic and other games still had a very decent soundtrack. You know, it supported it very well.
It's like they were focusing more on just the visuals and just the challenge of the game itself.
Right.
Yeah, agreed. I'm gonna cut it there. Do you know what time it is, everybody?
Duel time.
Incorrect, and we do not have that trademarked.
Oh, sorry.
Here at Retro Game Night,
Just a long beep.
here at Retro Game Night, we've come up with the very best way to rate a game in terms of replay value and overall interest of the game.
Oh,
We
yeah.
showcase it, which means you love it, you want to display it, you want to show it off to all of your jealous friends. One and done. We liked the time we had with you, but I'm sorry, we're moving on. We'll call you. I promise we will call you.
Don't call me. We'll call
Yeah,
you.
we'll call you. Or flush it, which equals toilet paper.
I'm going to wipe it.
And let's go with you first, Kyle.
Why me? So like what I was saying, yes, in the past I freaked out over this game. I don't like trying to drown in the ocean. I still say, though, that it's an interesting challenge. It's something that you should at least try once. Everybody should just be slightly scarred with some PTSD from a video game, and this is the safest one to do it with, because then at least you could be like, okay, I'm done. So I really think it's a one and done for me. You should at least give it a try, feel the challenge of this game, and understand the trauma that other people may have gone through.
Joshua?
I feel that in the time, back in the 90s, days of the Sega Genesis, I feel like this would have been a great game. I didn't play it. I was a Nintendo guy, so this is more of me coming back to it. And if this were, if we were doing this podcast maybe 20 years ago, if that were actually a thing, I would say that this would be amazing. This would be a showcase. And yet, when I look at it now, though, I feel like it hasn't aged well. And while I might agree with Kyle and say the one and done, the thing is that I really don't feel like most people should spend their time on this. It is there on the Sega Genesis Mini, so anyone who has that system can play Ecco the Dolphin if they choose to. But as far as anyone else who may not have that, or who may not have, the appropriate legal access to an emulation for it, just the disclaimer that if they were to play it, hey, try it out. But if you haven't, I wouldn't suggest starting now, because it is on the level of Nintendo hard. You have an expansive maze-like map. It's very unforgiving, and unless you're willing to spend a lot of time in this game, you're going to have a really hard time until you figure out every piece of that map.
Right.
So I would have to say flush it, because nowadays I would not advertise it. I wouldn't encourage anyone to check it out unless they're really into the Sega Genesis. They had it as a child or when they were younger, and they want to get back to it. By all means, go for it. Replay that challenge. But for anyone else, I would say you got to flush it.
I just wanted people to feel my pain. That's all.
I think they did.
And we're feeling it playing the game. I'm going to agree with Josh. I want this to be I want to put it into a giant-sized trunk, close it, lock it, wrap chains all over the trunk, then go on a ship, let it drop into the ocean, into the furthest bottom part of the ocean, and just let it sit there.
Mariana's Trench.
I would like to just not know this ever existed. I'd like to flush it by any means necessary. I do not get the sense of nostalgia that I thought I would have playing this game. I was very disappointed, very much let down. Hey,
They're not all going to be winners, my friend.
They're not all going to be winners, and I usually am very positive about my games, but this is not my game. So let's just start paper.
If it'll make you feel any better, when I was looking through some of the comments on the YouTube videos playing through this, and you would be surprised how many commenters had mentioned that they only ever got to like the second level, and they honestly thought it was basically a dolphin simulator. They never got to the point of the time travel and the aliens and all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that in itself is a testament that this game was punishing.
It was hard.
Hard, and I don't plan on going back.
I just want, like I said, I just want people to feel my pain. But
I think we've all felt it.
I think that's why
definitely
these types of episodes are really good, because it allows people to kind of get a feel for what the game is and let us deal with the trauma of these games. So that way you don't have to worry about it.
I'll say this, since the first day of our first episode of recording this podcast, I remember you already talking about your trauma of said video game, and since then we've talked about it quite regularly on the show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. We finally addressed it.
It's going to continue being talked about.
And I feel that this was a good time for you to manifest your feelings, to really show what it did to you. Would you feel more relieved now, Kyle, that you were able to let this off of you. Let it off your chest and express how you felt.
I'm still gonna express it, so it don't matter.
You're still
gonna hear it, people.
So you still have the PTSD. Okay, sorry. I can't cure you.
At least I have my comfort food to get me through this episode.
Yeah. Thank God for that.
And good friends.
Anything coming up for us?
I think we have a live show coming up. I forget the date.
February 29th.
There you go.
Saturday at Five Threads Brewery. We're going to have our next show via our volunteer wheel spinner that spin the wheel at our not the last live show, but the one before that, deciding we would be talking about the Metal Gear franchise. So,
not to put you on the spot, do you know his name?
His name's Chad.
Woo! Thank you, Chad.
Chad, we're going to be looking for you. A good opportunity to come hang out with us. If you get chosen to do the wheel again, because we're going to do that again for the next topic, we will do that topic, whatever it lands on. And if you show up, we will buy you a beer on us if you show up at that particular next show. Joshua, yes.
But even before that, while we were on the topic of drowning animals here, Sonic the Hedgehog. The movie is coming out on February 14th.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, something to be very excited for.
So we will be checking that movie out.
Yeah.
And although it's kind of new for us, you know what? It is retro. It is based on an old video game series. We admire Sonic.
Yeah. It's my personal favorite of probably any next to Mario. As far as the video game mascots, he's my favorite. So I'm really looking forward to covering this and comparing it to the original games.
And
yes.
Sonic looks so good.
Finally.
Yes, much better after the uproar.
So excited.
Well, that's all we have time for. If you do the internets, we are on Instagram at retro_game night. And for our info on our next live show and any events we have, go to retrogamenightpodcast.com. You'll find our podcast in all formats. Don't forget to also check us out on our YouTube channel. It's under Retro Game Night. Hit subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified. We love you guys all, and until next time, stay lovable.
Come on, Echo. We have to get you back to the future.
Sticking to time travel. Good night, everybody.
He was so excited to do that. He's like, look, watch what I'm going to do.
Watch this, baby. This dolphin's going to hit 88 miles per hour.